My husband's affair partner wanted to come clean and confessed about their affairs. She is now being stalked and harassed, and she's blaming me for it. My husband's affair partner is being stalked and harassed and I'm getting the blame for it. I'm at my wit's end with this situation and I don't know where to go from here. My husband had an affair with a woman who is now being stalked and harassed both online and in person. The harassment is escalating and whoever is doing it seems to want people to think that it's the wife behind it all. Earlier this year, I received a phone call from Amy, telling me that she'd been having a years-long affair with my husband Ben. I'm not sure what made her finally decide to come clean, but she wanted to meet in person to explain her side of the story. When I refused, she showed up at our house and made a scene. I won't get into all the sordid details, but the immediate aftermath was horrendous. Ben and I are currently in therapy and while we are still together our future is uncertain at this point. As if the humiliation of being cheated on wasn't enough, Amy went public about the affair on social media, making numerous video updates about her side of the story. We also know people in common, so this all circulated quickly around town. Amy claimed that she was protecting the community, saying that Ben was a predator who used his position to take advantage of her, though she maintained the relationship was completely consensual. To be clear, we are relatively prominent figures where we live and we own a successful business together. Amy described herself as a vulnerable, insecure woman who was swept away by a charming older man working in an industry she was trying to get ahead in. He strung her along, told her he loved her and played on her emotions. According to Ben, they hooked up a handful of times over the past 3 years, usually when they found themselves at an event together without me. He insists there was no emotional involvement, and that he had been trying to distance himself from her at the time she contacted me. I still don't know which of these narratives is closest to the truth and I probably never will. For what it's worth, Ben showed me his phone and the communication he has had with her seems to support his story, though of course I don't know if he deleted the more damning messages. Amy has threatened repeatedly to post proof that there was an actual relationship between them, but as far as I'm aware, she has not done so. I can admit now that I initially directed my anger at Amy and downplayed Ben's involvement, but with everything that's happened since, I feel like I'm completely unable to parse my emotions about all this. After a flurry of scandals, people eventually lost interest in our dirty laundry, and Ben and I started the long process of deciding how to move forward. I blocked Amy everywhere so I was not tempted to check in on her. Then about 3 months ago, I suddenly received a barrage of notifications and direct messages on social media. I was horrified to see that they were from people I didn't know accusing me of being behind a troll account that was viciously publicly attacking Amy online. Making comments to the effect of her being a SLT, a liar, a homewrecker, not welcome in our town. This person had also combed through my social media and was posting pictures of me and Ben, saying that Amy would never have what we had. The troll was following just one other account, mine. Amy's plethora of online friends had apparently concluded that the wife was the most likely suspect. I had to make all my social media private, including my business accounts, but not before having the humiliating experience of a bunch of internet strangers telling me that I was old and ugly and that there was a reason my husband had cheated on me. I recruited a close friend to look into things since I just wasn't up to it myself and Ben is pretty illiterate when it comes to social media. This friend went back through Amy's posts, and apparently, she has continued making regular video updates about the affair and its fallout. According to these, someone has been stalking and harassing her since she went public about it. It started with nasty anonymous text messages, saying essentially she'd be run out of town. She posted screenshots of these and said in a video she suspected they were from me. Someone also hand-delivered a threatening letter directly to her mailbox. All signs pointed to this being someone local who had both her phone number and home address, and not just a random online troll with too much time on their hands. My friend also said that the troll account went quiet after 2 or 3 days and that Amy had chastised the people who went after me, saying she didn't think it was me doing this. Things seemed to die down again, and I tried to move on. A few weeks after all this, Ben and I received a message from Amy's employer regarding some emails he'd been sent. These were all from an anonymous sender, but there were hints that I was behind them. The email address contained Ben's and my initials, and the sender's name was my first name. The gist of it was that certain unnamed influential people in the community were concerned about him employing Amy. The sender asked him to consider the business implications of having a PR institute working for him. There were several intimately semi-nude pictures of Amy attached, which turned out to be pictures she had posted openly on an NSFW social media account. We assured her boss that this had nothing to do with us and that we weren't interested in jeopardizing her employment. We also decided to reach out to Amy and she seemed grateful to hear from us. We wanted her to know this had nothing to do with us and told her that we'd be willing to help if there was anything we could do. Amy asked if we would write a statement that she could post on social media saying that we did not condone this behavior, that we supported her as a member of the community, and that we wanted the person behind it to stop immediately. It struck me as an odd request, but it seemed harmless enough if it would help. Then Amy suggested that we all meet for dinner, to figure out the details and to finally clear the air between us. I shut that down immediately. I assume she's looking for closure or forgiveness or something along those lines, and I am not at all interested in that. I'm sorry for what she's going through, but I don't like this woman and I never will. I certainly don't want to sit down with her and have dinner and drinks. The call went sideways from there and ended on a very strange and sour note. I drew a hard line with Ben that we were not going to be providing a statement or communicating with her directly and in any way going forward, and he readily agreed. Since the email incident, things have continued to escalate. Amy's apartment was broken into and her NSFW account got hacked. She filed a report about the break-in, but the police were unhelpful since there was no sign of forced entry and nothing missing, just her belongings had been conspicuously moved around to show that someone had been there. The hack involved someone accessing her account and making a single post using a pet name she used for Ben that only the two of them knew. She quickly recovered the account, but apparently, despite changing all her passwords, someone is still regularly accessing multiple accounts of hers and possibly stealing private pics. I can't imagine anyone I know going this far. From what I've seen, the harasser seems to be trying to give the impression that it's me and that I'm too old and unsophisticated to effectively hide my identity. Amy is the obvious main target, but this unhinged person seems happy to have me as collateral damage. Since our call, Amy has posted videos openly wondering whether Ben and I are indeed the perpetrators. She's furious with us, saying that our only concern is for our reputations and asking why we refuse to come out publicly and demand a stop to the harassment. She says it's unfair that she is the only one suffering the consequences of the affair, a statement with which I wholeheartedly disagree. She hasn't quite gone so far as to accuse me explicitly, but she has said that she thinks that Ben knows who's behind it. He's adamant that he doesn't, and I believe him. My close friends have all been supportive, but I know that rumors are circulating about me. My social media is still locked down because I get harassed by Amy's friends.